Just about 100 years ago, there was a little village close beside the Hudson River, and in the village lived a man named Rip Van Winkle, who had one of the strangest adventures that anyone can ever remember. Rip Van Winkle was the village handyman. He chopped wood, fixed wagons, and even built barns. He was a very good handyman, and there was plenty of work for him to do. But Rip Van Winkle was always poor. He didn't like work. He would much rather have fun and play games with the children of the village.
The dandiest, handiest handyman that anyone ever knew. The handiest, dandiest handyman was Rip Van Winkle, who, with his hammer and saw and his chisel and plane, could build you a house or a bridge or a train, or anything at all you happen to need. A dandy handyman indeed. He did wonderful tricks with cement and bricks in the twinkling of an eye. He could build you a wall that was 10 feet tall and also 10 feet high. He could build cellar stairs or tables and chairs that were really the very best. But when it came to working, Rip just much preferred to rest. Rip, Rip, Rip Van Winkle, his eyes were all a twinkle when he put his hammer and saw away and went off with the children to play, and went off with the boys to play, and went off with the girls to play. With his hammer and saw and his chisel and plane, he could build you a house or a bridge or a train, or anything at all you happen to need. A dandy handyman indeed. He did wonderful tricks with cement and bricks in the twinkling of an eye. He could build you a wall that was 10 feet tall and also 10 feet high. He could build cellar stairs or tables and chairs that were really the very best. But when it came to working, Rip just much preferred to rest. Rip, Rip, Rip Van Winkle, his eyes were all a twinkle when he put his hammer and saw away and went out with the children to play, and went out with the boys to play, and went out with the girls to play.
Morning, noon, and night, Rip Van Winkle's wife kept after him to make more money. She made his life as sour as a sour pickle. When he took the boys fishing on the river, she was right in back of him. When he played jump rope with the girl, she was right in back of him. And when he played follow the leader, she was right there too. But still, Rip played with the children every day.
The sun came out this morning. The sky is bright and blue. It's such a lovely day today. There is something we must do. It's time that we got started. So bring along your friends. We'll all have such a happy time that we hope it never ends. We'll play tag and follow the leader. There are lots and lots of fun. Hide and seek and hopscotch. Come on now, everyone. Blind man's buff and Simon Says and ring a levio. Come on now, everybody. Come on
One day, instead of mending Mr. Van Bummel's fence, Rip Van Winkle was out in the woods playing hide-and-seek. He ran behind a tree to hide and bumped smack into a funny little man as round as a barrel. "Whoops," said Rip, "I'm terribly sorry." But the little man just smiled and beckoned Rip Van Winkle to follow him. He was dressed all in leather, and his pants had brass buttons down the side, and on his shoulder he carried a stout wooden keg. The little man scrambled over streams and rocks and up into the high mountains that overlooked the river. Rip followed him. Every now and then there was a sound like distant thunder. It got louder and louder. And then as they squeezed between two big rocks and into a hollow, Rip saw where the sound had been coming from. It was a most unusual sight. There was a whole group of the little men all dressed in leather with brass buttons, and they were bowling. When he saw them, Rip Van Winkle knew at once who the little men were. For years he'd been telling the children the story of Henry Hudson, who had discovered the river, and the crew of his ship, the Half Moon. The story went that every 20 years, the ghosts of Hudson and his crew came back to these mountains to have a party. Rip never really believed the story because he didn't believe in ghosts. But here they were, and they were the merriest, jolliest ghosts that anyone could imagine.
250 years ago we sailed from Holland shore and up the Hudson River where no one had been before. When we made this discovery, it made us feel so great that every 20 years our ghosts come back to celebrate. With a happy-go-lucky ghost ho-ho of Henry Hudson's crew, we go bowling, 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 'cause that's what we like to do. Our ship was called the Half Moon and was very, very small. It really was a miracle that we got here at all. The ocean was so mighty and the waves so big and wet that though we landed long ago, we're kind of seasick yet. With a happy-go-lucky ghost ho-ho of Henry Hudson's crew, we go bowling, 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 'cause that's what we like to do.
The little man who had brought Rip there opened the stout wooden keg he had been carrying, and the rest took out copper mugs and held them up to be filled with nut-brown foaming ale. Someone gave Rip a mug of ale and he tasted it. It was the most delicious drink he had ever had. But as soon as he had finished it, he fell sound asleep under a big oak tree. When he woke up, it was morning, and the little men were gone. Rip felt creaky in every joint. Must be the dampness on the mountain, he thought. But he didn't want to go home. He knew what his wife would say. He scratched his chin and felt a long beard. He got up, looked at his reflection in a mountain stream, and saw that he had grown old. Then he remembered more of the story of Henry Hudson and his crew. Anyone who drank their nut-brown foaming ale would go to sleep and wake up far in the future. So he hurried down the mountain to see what it would be like. The houses were gone, and in their place were large golden bubbles without chimneys or windows and doors. Outside one of them, there was a sign that said, "For sale." Rip walked up to the bubble. It opened, And he was inside. The bubble was empty except for a big switchboard full of knobs and buttons and levers. He turned a knob, and the bubble got larger. He pressed a button, and it got smaller. He could make it any size at all. He pulled a lever, and the entire bubble floated straight up into the air. He pulled another, and the bubble settled back to earth. He pressed 3 buttons. Furniture popped up out of the floor. Platters of food came down from the ceiling. And the whole bubble was filled with the sound of music. Poor Rip was so bewildered that he didn't know what to do. He burst through the bubble and found himself out on the street. He walked up to a group of children standing in line near a big, shiny thing that looked like a cigar. "Where are you going?" he asked the boy. "We're taking the rocket to Jupiter for a picnic," the boy said. "Last week we went to Mars." But Jupiter," spluttered Rip. It's so far away." "Oh, don't be so old-fashioned," said the boy. "This is 1999. And the line of the children moved towards the rocket.
We're on our way to Jupiter. For picnicking, it's quite the perfect place. And it is very close to home, just 390 million miles in space. We're on our way to Jupiter. We'll see the funny animals, of course. The hipponoceros and the chimpanamaligeribra-horse. We'll be there in an hour. How jolly it will be. We'll float around like feathers, 'cause there is no gravity. We're on our way to Jupiter. We're traveling along the Milky Way. We're on our way to Jupiter for a happy, happy, happy holiday. There is no gravity. We're on our way to Jupiter. We're traveling along the Milky Way. We're on our way to Jupiter for a happy, happy, happy holiday. For a happy, happy, happy holiday. For a happy, happy, happy holiday.
Rip waved goodbye as the children went into the rocket and it took off. And then he heard someone call, "Look out, look out!" A little girl with wheels strapped to her feet was whizzing towards him. And she stopped just in time. "These are my new atomic roller skates," she said. "They go up in the air and everything. I'm not quite used to them yet." Of course, Rip Van Winkle had never seen atomic roller skates. He'd never even seen plain roller skates. They didn't have them in his day. But roller skating looked like fun. "May I try them?" he asked. The little girl took off the skates and Rip strapped them to his shoes. And in a moment he was skating down the street. Oh, it was marvelous fun. Then the skates made a whistling sound. Lifted Rip into the air. He flew up towards the mountain that overlooked the river. He flew just over the tops of the trees. And then, suddenly, right in his way, there was a big oak tree. Rip couldn't stop. He knew he was going to hit it. And he did. He woke up in the exact spot where he had fallen asleep. He felt for his beard. It was gone. He didn't feel creaky anymore. He looked at his reflection in a mountain stream. Oh, laughed Rip, I'm me again. Why, the future had all been a dream. He walked slowly down the mountain. And in the village, everything was just the same. Even his wife. Rip sat down by the fire. Oh, and wished that he was back in the future, with the golden bubbles, the shiny rocket ship, and the atomic roller skates. The roller skates, thought Rip. The roller skates. He ran past his wife and into his workshop. He took out his tools. He worked all that night and all the next day. When he finally came out, they were strapped to his shoes, the first pair of roller skates that anyone had ever seen. Rip skated down the main street of the village. And all the people came out to watch him. Everyone wanted a pair of skates. Before long, Rip was known far and wide as the man who invented roller skates. He sold the idea for a great deal of money and grew so rich that never again did his wife go. And as for Rip, he never had to work anymore. He could be found fishing with the boys, playing jump rope with the girls, or roller skating with all the children.
We roller skate along. Our roller skates seem to sing a little song. They clickety-clack over every crack, clickety-clack along the way. With brand new shiny skates on our feet, we're whizzing down the street. Lickety-split, there's no time to sit. Lickety-split, we go today. First the right foot, then the left. We glide, glide, glide. The little wheels go spinning around. Oh, what a wonderful ride. We roller skate, and then we roller skate again. Clickety-split, clickety-clack, glide, glide. Oh, what a wonderful ride. Clickety-clack, glide, glide.